Sorry about that. I had some issues with my microphone. I have to do it on a different video here. All right, continue along. Example 5. We are now going to graph quadratic equations, given all of this information that we have learned. So we're going to graph f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 3. All right, step number 1 is we need to find our axis of symmetry. Again, a reminder, we find this by finding the x value with negative b divided by 2a. Okay, our negative b, our b value is positive 4, and our a value, there's nothing in front of the x squared, so of course our a value is 1. So we're going to have negative b, so negative 4 divided by 2 times 1. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So we have our axis of symmetry is when x equals negative 2. So right here. So we can have our dashed line. We know that our axis of symmetry is going to be right here. All right, once we have our axis of symmetry, step 2 is we're going to find out whether we have a maximum or minimum and where that vertex is at, that xy value. Okay, well, to find our maximum or minimum, we look at our a value. A is 1. That means it's greater than 0. It means we're having a minimum. So our graph is going to look like this kind of parabola. It's going to be U-shaped. Okay. All right, so now we're going to use our equation and we're going to plug in our value of negative 2 from our axis of symmetry. We're going to plug in negative 2 into our equation. So we've got negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 4 minus 8 plus 3 is negative 1. So that means our minimum down here at the bottom is going to be at negative 2, negative 1. Okay, so if we go to the graph, we go to negative 2. Let me grab a different color here real quick. We're going to go to negative 2, negative 1. Right here is going to be our minimum of our graph. All right, next thing we need to do is we need to find the y-intercept. We need another point. We know that our y-intercept is when x equals 0. So again, we're going to plug 0 into our equation. So we've got 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 3. Of course, that means our y value is going to be 3. So our y-intercept is going to be at 0, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, right here. Okay. So now that we know we have a minimum and our vertex is at negative 2, negative 1, we know that our y-intercept is right here. The next thing is we're just going to use symmetry to find the other point. Well, if I know that over 2 right here is the y-intercept, I'm going to go on the other side of this axis of symmetry. I'm just going to go over 2 spots, and this must be where another point is. Because remember, if we flip it and fold it right on this axis of symmetry, it's going to be the same. So all we need is that other point, because now I can draw a pretty smooth curve to make our parabola. And there you go. You have graphed a quadratic equation, finding the axis of symmetry, the vertex for that minimum or maximum, plug in and find the y-intercept, and then use symmetry to find the other point and connect it with a smooth curve. Thanks for tuning in. This is Ms. Johnson with the second day of 9-2 Graphing Quadratic Functions.